Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cassie and today we're going to be doing the best books I read in 2023. So basically all of the books I'm doing today are 5-star reads, and also I might throw in a couple honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. Instead of ranking them just because I can't make a decision to save my life, I will be instead just going in order I read them from January through till now, December. And yeah, really quick, I just want to give you a few stats on my reading this year. At this current point in time in December, I have read 70 books this year. My goal is to read 60 and that goal was met. I really wasn't worried about meeting the goal. I just kind of put a number. Last year, I think my goal was also 60 or 52 or something, but I read over 100 books. So it's not really about the number and it's not about how much you read. It's just about the quality and that you aren't doing it as a chore, right? So it's not homework. But my best reading month this year and last year, weirdly enough, was August. And I feel like that's so random. But I think I get so excited for fall and it's still nice out that I read more in August, and then I start reading like thrillers and horror and stuff. So maybe that's why. So my worst reading month was November. I was actually very sick pretty much all of November. I actually had shingles on my face, which there's some remnants of that, and it got in my eye. So I was not reading, that's for sure. And I'm very fortunate that I am doing as well as I am, to be honest. So that was not a good reading month. Well, that's fine. Things happen, you know? Now I'm reading again in December, and that's great. We love to see it. My most read genre was fantasy, which it has been, I think, every single year since I've been alive and had the ability to read or be read to. So yeah, fantasy wins again. Almost 50% of my reading was audiobooks, which I am pro audiobooks. I will be always sticking up for audiobooks on this channel. So even next year, it's gonna be audiobooks. We're gonna be reading audiobooks. I drive a lot. I've said it before, I'll say it again. And when you're driving all the time, what's better than an audiobook? I at some point would like to do like an favorite audiobook video. So if that's something you're interested in, hit me up, let me know, comment below. Because I read a lot of audiobooks, a lot. But yeah, so let's get into my favorite books of the year, starting back in January. In January, I got onto a webtoons kick. Don't we all? Don't we all at some point? In January, I read a few volumes of Lore Olympus. And when I did, I gave Lore Olympus Volume 4 and Volume 5 stars. I've been loving Lore Olympus. I think I've now read up to through Volume 6 total. I'm really enjoying them. I think those books are actually out now that you can actually go and purchase in hardback or in paperback. But I did read them on my phone. You can read all of them on your phone that are up to date. So, well, just so you know, that's an option. And I just loved it. Those volumes were my favorite because the emotion I felt for Persephone, it's just, first of all, the artwork is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think it's by any means a perfect series, but as far as like the graphic novel aspect, and it's just beautiful. And I think that there's so much to do with that like world, that with mythology that Rachel Smythe has done and is doing and will do, that I think is really cool. So I highly recommend checking out Lore Olympus if you haven't already, because it's very popular. But yeah, so then moving on, the end of January was not, or mid-end of January wasn't great for me, because our dog that I loved dearly and miss still passed away. So then I had a bit of a slump for a period. But then the book that kind of brought me peace, that I finally read, and I think I finished it on March 1st, so we're heading into March now, that was A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This book was so sweet, so light, so endearing. Yes, it's sci-fi, but once you get just through the general early world building, I don't think it's hard to conceptualize, at least just to like take it in stride. It's very short, very small guy here, and it's beautiful. I loved the main characters, the monk and the robot, Dex and Mosscap. You meet Dex, the monk, first right off the bat, and then soon you'll meet the robot later on, who is super cute. I love a cute inanimate side character object, I guess, sort of. You know what I mean? But like a non-human character. Very sweet, makes you just want to be cozy on up with a cup of tea, or, you know, snuggle up in a chair. This is the vibe. This is the book. So I definitely love this one, and it was 5 stars easy. I read it at the start of a vacation, and it was the perfect, just what I needed at the time. I just needed to get away, and this is all about taking a break. So if you need to take a break, I recommend this book. Okay, great. Also in March, I read Local Woman Missing. This was a great thriller. I was eating it up, especially how it begins. It just feels like Criminal Minds to me, just like the most bizarre Criminal Minds or SVU like episode. Like that's how it starts, and you're just like sucked in immediately. So it was just like nonstop thrills, action, just go, 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 and that's what I really enjoyed about it. I don't know if it's like, as far as thrillers go, the most believable or whatever, but to me that doesn't really matter. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that one, and I gave it 5 stars. And I don't read a ton of thrillers, but I've been getting more into them this year, and so for that, being a 5-star is really great for me, really great. From there, in April, I gave 5 stars to The Hunger Games and Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. This was the first time I've ever read The Hunger Games. I know. At the time when reading this, I was 28 years old. So where had I been? That's a good question. There was a lot going on when these came out in like high school, middle school-ish for me. So I did not get to them, and I got to them this year, and they were as great as I thought. I'm in love with Peeta. No, there's nothing more to say. I mean, that's it. That's everything. As you can see, I'm holding up these 2 books for 5 stars. This is an honorable mention, but Mockingjay, I gave 4.5 stars. I did not give it 5 stars. I think other people probably would maybe agree or could understand my reasoning. Really just because of pacing more for me with this one. I know a lot of people had a problem with the epilogue. My reasoning is more pacing. The beginning and middle, just the pacing of this compared to these 2 was so different. And then the ending was like blistering light speed fast. So I don't know, but still very happy with the series as a whole. But yes, these 2 were just what I needed. The first like truly bingeable books this year, and I just will probably reread them in the future and go back to them. I mean, amazing. I was obsessed. I didn't mean to hit the camera. Okay. Then in June, I read the sequel to A Psalm for the Wild Built, which is A Prayer for the Crown Shy. This is also by Becky Chambers. This is number 2 in the Monk and Robot series. I'm hoping it's just going to be a series, not just a duology. Another little short novella. So sweet and cute. I freaking love Mosscap. Oh my gosh, so freaking sweet and cute. I may like this one better than the first one. I don't know if it's just because with the first one there's some setup and understanding the general world and what's going on, but this one's just like straight into the joy of it all, and it's just truly lovely. Also really great representation in these books, if you're looking for that. If you read the first book, please read the second book. I just think you gotta read them both. I think a lot of people, maybe just with any series, it's like you kind of read the first one sometimes, but definitely read the second book. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I think I might like it better than the first one. And it was 5 stars. And so I need to read all like Becky Chambers, like in general, like ASAP. I have never read A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, but I think I need to now. So that's what I've learned. Also in June, I read this book, but it is not a 5 star. It was so close. It was a 4.5 star, but I did want to give it a shout out, give it an honorable mention spot. Sorry about my dog again. If you've been here at all, there's noises here. My dog is snoring currently. Sorry about that. Anyway, going back to this, Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I did do a reading vlog where I read Yellowface. I also read Babel, and I have read the Poppy War trilogy, so I did a whole like author review vlog. So if you want to check that out. Yes, so this was great. I run into this pretty blind, honestly, and it was great fun. It was definitely not what I expected. I didn't think it was gonna be a thriller, and it is a thriller, which was awesome. Again, apparently I'm reading thrillers this year, so go read this. Feels like literary fiction, but is actually a thriller. Interesting. I also really want R.F. Kuang to write a legit horror now. Like, I think it would be so good. So good. And I'm super into horror now. So, R.F. Kuang, if you're watching, first of all, what's up, girl? How did you get here? That would be so cool. That's not happening though. I wish. But if you are watching R.F. Kuang, Rebecca. Can I call you Becky? Becky? No. Okay. I knew that was uncomfortable right when I said it. Rebecca, please write a thriller. It doesn't have to be anything super long. It doesn't have to be a big series. Nothing like that. I just think it would be baller. All right. From your girl. Sorry about that. That was just a moment for me and Rebecca, if she's listening. Okay. Which she's not. Okay, moving on. Okay, we moved right on swiftly through summer before we got another 5-star read, which was in August. And I mentioned a little bit ago, August was a very good reading month for me. I read 12 books and I had 1 5-star read. I did a 24-hour reading vlog in August, which is part of why I read so much, which you can also check out. In that vlog, I read several books off of my physical TBR, so that was awesome. And this was one of them. That is Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin, translated by Megan McDowell. This was so potent and like distressing and unputdownable, and it's I would describe it as a psychological horror. Definitely one you just gotta check out. You just gotta check it out. It really did feel like a, say it together, fever dream. Yes, it felt claustrophobic at times. How it's written, it's almost stream of consciousness, and it very well might be. There aren't chapter breaks. There aren't, it just goes. It just flows. There's very little dialogue because you feel like you're a story within a story. And nothing in it I personally would say is really like gruesome or anything. If that's something that might turn you off to it, it's just it's very like dreamlike. You just don't know who's talking, where they are, what's going on, but then you're like, wait, are they talking to this person? Are we here? Or is this a past story? Is this current? And you just put it all together as it goes on, and then I just sat with it. I mean, this was beautiful. Also creepy kids. I mean, come on, creepy kids right in here. Yeah, I highly recommend this if you're looking for a quick psychological horror in your life thriller. It's not really horror, but I don't know, it's on the cusp. So 5 stars. Okay, then in September, I read a book I have been really looking forward to. I had heard about it a bit, was really interested in it, and I just felt like it was going to be a 5-star read, and boy did it deliver. That was Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Sugimura, and that's translated by Philip Gabriel. There's this version, and there's also like a pink cover version that was out before this one, with like a little girl with like a wolf mask on. Same book. This just feels very magical. It is a portal fantasy. Love a good portal fantasy. If you also do, then pick it up. Sorry, I don't know why I'm being so bossy. This is beautiful. It feels like a Studio Ghibli movie. It now is a Studio Ghibli movie, which I have watched, and it was also beautiful, but it was rooted in discussions of mental health, which is super awesome and cool, and important. And I really just think that if everyone gave it a chance to check it out, you probably won't be disappointed. I mean, that's my opinion. I hope you're not. I have already done a vlog on this as well, so I won't go too deeply more into it than that, but please check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. That's my opinion. Moving right along into October. In October, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to another honorable mention, which was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This was my first Riley Sager ever, and only so far. And I gave it 4.5 stars. I read this on audio, and I think that was a good decision. I was really invested, and it was just nonstop. I loved it. Very mysterious. It was on the cusp of horror, again, another one. The ending didn't quite land for me, which is why it didn't end up being a 5-star read, but I'm definitely very excited to read more from Riley Sager now. I know he's very popular, and so I get it. I'm gonna read some more. The final books, again, I apologize for my dog and her many noises, but the final books are a manga series that I've started, not finished yet, but that is The Promised Neverland by Kai Shirai. This is book 7, but I've read books 1 through 6, and I gave them all 5 stars. I'm absolutely obsessed with this manga. The first manga I've really just completely dove into, and I don't want to stop reading. Basically, really quick synopsis on this one, just because I can't really say too much more. This is about an orphanage where children, babies, infant to 12 years of age live. There's about 40 kids there, and they are hoping to get adopted. But the adoption process isn't sunshine and rainbows, as it turns out, and that's all I'm gonna say. This is a horror, this is fantasy, and it's so good. I am loving it. I'm honestly so scared that like I'm not gonna end up loving it coming up or like at the end or something, because it's just like too good to be true, honestly, is how I feel. But it's so good, and I love it. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So those are all of my 5-star reads from this year. But yeah, that's all of them. So I think close to 15, maybe 15-ish books total. Some are part of series, of course, as you saw, that I gave 5 stars this year out of the 70 that I've read. Pretty good, honestly. Sometimes I feel like last year I read so many books, but like I didn't have a ton of 5-star reads in like ratio, so pretty good overall. And that's it. If you want to comment, subscribe, leave a like this video, tell me your favorite books of the year, please do down below. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a good day, and happy reading. Peace.